The issue with most morning routines is that they make you feel like if you're not getting up at 5 a.m. and jumping into a cold shower and repeating 100 affirmations in the mirror and getting into your grind set, that you're going to be a failure. But for those of us who struggle with our mental health, then we know that trying to have such routines is pretty much just not really realistic. And if we're not careful, we can start spiraling down this rabbit hole of thinking of, I'm never going to be able to have a good morning routine. And if I can't get something as simple as waking up in the morning correct, then how on earth am I going to succeed at the rest of my life? If you're there, I know how you feel. I've struggled with anxiety and codependency for my whole life, and I know firsthand just how difficult it is when I listen to that anxious thought of nothing I ever do is ever going to be enough. But we can't let that thought win, and we can't let what other people say that they're doing dictate what we should be doing for ourselves. Life is hard enough without that. So here's some realistic tips to create an effective and supportive morning routine if you struggle with mental health. Before I jump into the tips, I just want to share the attitude with which I'd like you to hear what I'm about to share. And that attitude is, my life revolves around how I manage my mental health. Your mental health is the main quest, not a side quest. It's not something optional that you can choose to do. And really, you've got two decisions. You can either let your life be dictated by your mental health issues, or you can let your life be dictated by the things that you need to do to manage your mental health issues. And you've probably already got an awareness of this because you know that trying to get a 5 a.m. grind set is not going to really help you cope with what you're going through. So just take that attitude as a principle as I share these tips with you, because it's a lot of information, and at the end of the day, you know what's best to manage your own mental health. Tip 1. A good morning routine starts the night before. You can't expect to wake up feeling good if you stayed up till 3 a.m. doom scrolling. And I know this sounds like a lot because I'm basically saying to double the amount of what you need to do. You need to have a good nighttime routine and you need to have a good morning routine, and you're struggling just even getting one of those going. But remember, take what works for you and you can slowly build this up. And in fact, as you get better with your morning routine, you're going to find yourself pulled naturally in wanting to have a better nighttime routine for yourself. Tip number 2. Wake up at the same time every single day. The reason you feel groggy in the morning is because you're waking up from a deeper part of your sleep cycle. So sleep has cycles and it's got different phases in it, and they're either light phases or they're deeper phases. And when you wake up during a deeper phase, that's when you feel like, oh, did I even sleep? And you feel groggy and like you're not really even there. And when you don't have a consistent wake time, a consistent sleep-wake schedule, then you run the risk of waking up during one of those deeper sleep cycles and feeling like crap. And the only way you can almost guarantee that this doesn't happen is by waking up at the same time every single day, even on the weekends. And there's no right or wrong time here. You need to find what works for you and your lifestyle. For me, I get up at 6:45 a.m. because that just gives me enough time to do what I need to do before I go to work. And that brings me to tip number 3. Give yourself enough time to be gentle with yourself in the morning. There is very little worse than having to rush around first thing in the morning. My anxiety often makes me want to get up and go, go, go and start doing things straight away. But if I do that, then I sort of stay right up here in my head and I lose contact with the rest of myself, my body, my feelings, my spirituality. And if I've started the day just like that, then I find it really difficult to get back into it as the day goes on, and it's almost impossible. So I just walk around feeling detached from myself, just like a bit of a floating mind. And I find that whatever tone I start my day on, that's normally the tone that the rest of my day is going to go with. You know, obviously sometimes, things will happen, good things or bad things, and that will change how I'm feeling. But I don't want my happiness to hinge on whether something good or bad happens. I want to control what I can control for something that's so important to me. Here are some quick and easy ways that you can be gentler with yourself in the morning when you first wake up. Give yourself 10 more minutes. 10 more minutes extra sleep probably isn't going to make much of a difference. But those 10 minutes in the morning for when you're getting ready might be the difference between rushing around like a mad thing and actually having enough time to get done what you need to get done without causing extra stress for yourself. Remind yourself as soon as you wake up that you are not your anxious thoughts. If I wake up and I immediately just get lost in the anxiety as it hits me, I'm pretty much done for. Whereas if I can wake up with an awareness of, I am not my anxious thoughts and I'm here to look after myself, that awareness just creates a little bit of space. And in that space, I can keep my anxious thoughts away and just remind myself that I'm going to be all right. Consider getting one of those alarm clocks that increases in brightness as you're waking up. Waking up in the dark sucks. I actually got one of these alarm clocks a couple of years ago, and it has been a game changer. They are kind of expensive. It's about 1 or 150 quid. But it is so worth it, especially in the wintertime when you wake up and it is just dark outside. Having that gentle light help your body to wake up, and then having the room be bright when you open your eyes just feels so much better than a dark room. Speaking of making things nicer, have a nice alarm sound. Don't put your alarm as something that's really stressful the moment you wake up. What an unfortunate experience to give yourself. Put something nice and gentle, but that still makes you feel awake as your alarm. And then finally, consider putting your phone on the other side of the room, so you have to get out of bed to go and get it. And that will also mean that you aren't going to bed with it, which might help keep you off of it at bedtime. And then once you're out of bed, it's much easier to stay out of bed. Tip number 4, no screens. Just don't use your phone or tablet or television or anything. No screens. There is so much research showing that early use of technology spikes your cortisol levels. Cortisol is your stress hormone, and then that just makes you feel like a zombie for the rest of the day. Moreover, using your phone is a really terrible way to lose a lot of time first thing in the morning. If you open your phone and you start scrolling through Instagram or TikTok, you can lose 20, 30, 40 minutes. And then not only do you feel bad because you've just wasted a load of time and you have to rush around, you probably also don't feel so good because the content you were consuming is not likely to have been optimal for first thing in the morning. If you really need to have something on in the background, and I do this sometimes, put on the radio or put on a podcast. It will slow you down, like you're going to need to add 10 or 15 minutes to your routine, but it can also help drown out some of those annoying thoughts and give you a little bit of a distraction as you focus on taking care of yourself. But again, keep it gentle. Don't blast yourself with pop music or some stressful political commentary. Keep it chill. Make it some nice, simple radio or a nice, simple podcast. Tip number 5. Drink a glass of water as soon as you wake up. The first thing I do when I get out of bed is I go pee and then I go and drink a glass of water. Hydration is so important, especially when you struggle with mental health. When you're dehydrated, your body feels bad, and the worse your body feels, the worse your mind feels, because your physical health is also your mental health. Starting the day by getting in lots of water can really help you hit that 2-liter target that we have. And in fact, the best time to drink water is in that first bit of the day because your liver starts processing it differently as the day goes on. The easiest way that I've found to do this is to pour myself a glass of water the night before and then leave it somewhere where I'm going to obviously do it, like the bathroom or the kitchen. And if you take medication or vitamins, then you can combine those activities to make sure that you remember to do that. It's a double win. Tip number 6. Do your basic hygiene. The morning is a time to refresh and reset to be ready for the day. Getting down your basic hygiene, like brushing your teeth, washing your face, putting on some fresh clothes, doing your hair a little bit, can really help you feel refreshed and feel more prepared to tackle the challenges that lie in the day ahead. If you struggle with time in the morning, then make sure that you do all of your big hygiene tasks in the evening instead. So I always shower in the evening because I don't have 15, 20 minutes in the morning. I'd much prefer to get it done at night. And I also really like the feeling of getting into bed being all like warm and clean, and it's quite relaxing to shower at nighttime. I also lay out my clothes the night before so that I don't have to think in the morning because I don't have enough brain power when I wake up to decide what I want to wear. Investing the time, energy, and a little bit of money in these tasks shows yourself that you are worth taking care of and that you're worthy of loving yourself and looking after yourself. Tip number 7, eat breakfast. I know eating breakfast can be hard. Maybe you haven't got time, maybe you don't really feel hungry, but if you don't eat breakfast, you're pretty much setting yourself up for a difficult day. Eating food helps to regulate your body and it gives you energy in the morning. And as I said earlier, physical health is mental health. So if your body is feeling good and like it's got energy, your mind, your brain are going to also feel like they've got energy. And if you do it right, you can actually make breakfast quite an exciting moment. I look forward to having breakfast every evening. I'm like, oh, I'm going to wake up and have breakfast. So you can make yourself something really simple. I make porridge. Porridge is so good for you. And I put like berries, some mixed berries, so raspberries, blackberries, blueberries, a bit of banana, and then some seeds to balance out, although there's quite a lot of like carbohydrates and sugar in there. And it's just so good. It's so simple. You could also just make eggs or have some cereal, just really anything delicious and nutritious to kickstart your day and to give you that energy that you need. As a little bonus tip, ideally you would push your caffeine to later in the day because having it later in the morning is actually a more optimal time to take it. But if you like to drink coffee in the morning and you don't want to switch to decaf or to tea or to green tea, then having breakfast at the same time as you drink your coffee can actually reduce the cortisol spike that caffeine causes, which means you can still get the energy, but you won't feel quite as anxious or as jittery because of it. Tip number 8, we're nearly there. Get some sunlight. Sunlight is the natural sign for your body that it's time to wake up. You want to get sunlight as early as possible onto your skin and into your eyes. And for the one person who needs me to say this, don't look directly at the sun. Anything goes here. You got to do what works for you. I think ideally you'd probably want to go outside and feel the fresh air and get that sun on your skin. But if you're lazy, and I normally just do this, just look out the window for a minute or two and feel the sun on you. It's nice and warm. And if it's dark, like during winter, then you might have to get some of this sunlight later. Maybe you take a little break for work and go outside or stand by the window. Or you can invest in a sad lamp. And finally, tip number 9. Give yourself enough time to get to work and to settle into work when you arrive. It would be a real shame if you did all this beautiful work to look after yourself gently in the morning, and then you had to sprint off to the train station and rush to sit down at work just to get there before 9 a.m. Sometimes trains and traffic cause us to be late. That is out of our control. It is life. But we should be controlling what we can control, which is giving ourselves enough time to make sure we can get to work on time. If you do give yourself enough time, you'll usually arrive with a few minutes to spare, and that's really helpful because it means that you can ease yourself into the day. You can use this time to go to the bathroom, get a coffee, sit down and review your to-do list, and especially to look for that one thing that you need to do today to move the needle and to make the day a success. Remember, you can still carry that attitude of being gentle with yourself into the working day and even into the office. And that's it. I know it's a lot. Take what's useful, discard the rest. But really remember that all of this is helpful, but you don't have to do it all at once. You can pick one thing, and you probably already know what that one thing is. It's the thing that when you heard it, you went, ah, Yeah, that's a really good idea. I could probably do that. Take that and start there. Just do that one thing and trust that doing that one thing will eventually lead you to building a full routine that really makes you feel good in the morning and helps you protect your mental well-being. Healing takes time. It is a journey. And on that journey, you can either let your mental health dictate how you do, or you can let your life be dictated by the things that you choose to do to manage your mental health. Having tried both, I can tell you that the second option is much, much better. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then please hit like and subscribe if you would like more content like this. I wish you all the best for your healing journey, and I'll see you again soon.